Upon closing its fund, New York found that its long-term liability is between $15 and $22 billion. After the audit by the Missouri State Auditor in April 2007 and the Second Injury Fund actuarial study by PricewaterhouseCoopers in July 2007, we now clearly have Missouri's Second Injury Fund is headed for insolvency either this year or in 2009. We also know from the PricewaterhouseCoopers study that Missouri's long-term liability, if we close the fund today, would exceed $1 billion. Today, the Second Injury Fund is a fiscal train wreck. Governor Blunt, President Pro Tem Gibbons, Speaker Jett, and I have joined together today to ask Attorney General Nixon to reply to 3 questions that must be answered concerning the Second Injury Fund. In order to proceed with legislative solution that we will address the short and long-term problems now being faced by the Missouri Second Injury Fund. This letter being signed today represents the 3rd official request sent to Attorney General Nixon since November. Question 1. Who is liable for payments derived from settlements and decisions once the impending insolvency 08-09 of the Second Injury Fund is reached? Does the State Treasurer have the authority? Question 2. Does the State Treasurer have the authority to pay out of the Second Injury Fund if the fund does not have sufficient balance to meet obligations? Question 3. Is the responsibility of the Attorney General who defends the fund, Second Injury Fund, or the State Treasurer who makes the payments from the fund to decide who will and will not receive compensation from a soon-depleted fund, since no provisions existing in state law for continuing payments from another source?
Just got out of control in our veterans, who I think this program was designed for, maybe the ones suffering the most. The question is, yeah, we all can see the numbers, we know that it's going to go broke. The question is why, and what do we do to fix it? And I don't know what's going on right there. I don't know if the Attorney General's not handling it right. I mean, there's a lot of things that cause concern. And you see a lot of lawyers that are representing cases end up making their political donations. You wonder if that's causing some of the problem. You wonder if there's mismanagement, or maybe it's just something that is out of control and it's not his fault. For some reason, though, we can't even get an answer to know why is it going wrong, what are his thoughts. He's managing every day. He should be helping us in the legislature, and my committee, who's been working for all summer, helping us figure out the answers that we need so that we can fix this problem. And if it's a legitimate problem that is just beyond his control, we want to get in there and help fix it. But if it's a problem that's maybe some of his cause, then we need to fix that as well. And that's what hopefully this letter will get us on the path to.
I would just say there's a massive problem within the Attorney General's office, a massive problem with the fund that he controls and controls the expenditures out of. It's appropriate that as the legislature tries to solve a problem within the purview of the Attorney General, that he provide basic information. It's fair to provide basic information. I think would be disrespectful to the members of the General Assembly.
That's a good question. If you'll notice, no bills have been filed to fix the Second Injury Fund. There is, I think Senator Loudon's fixed one for Shamel. We've been waiting. We've kind of had a group decision to wait to hear from the Attorney General. Part of these could be constitutional. And as you well know, we're all Republicans standing up here, and we can pass something, but we got one senator over there that can filibuster and kill it. So we have to have answers from the Attorney General on if something doesn't pass. Because I don't think anybody standing up here is going to pass a kind of fix-it bill. We want to fix it. So one senator can kill it, and we're sitting out here with nothing, and the thing goes bankrupt. Someone's got to be dealing with it, and the Attorney General is the one that handles all the legal questions on this.
So you're waiting to pass legislation until you hear back from him?
We want to hear back from the Attorney General. Some of that could be constitutional. Who's going to pay this out? Is it if it goes bankrupt? Think about it. It's set at 3%. Who's going to pay it? Is it going to be the state? It's not the state's deal. Is it going to be the employers? You know, those questions need to be asked. That's why we ask those questions.
I think for the legislative discussion, the ramifications of doing nothing is an important thing to know. And maybe what you're getting at is these seem like pretty basic legal questions, and they do seem like basic questions, which makes it even more surprising that he hasn't provided an answer.
And you are let me make sure I understand. The official request is to the Attorney General to provide an Attorney General's opinion, which he can only provide to other government officials.
Well, it's an inquiry. I don't know. There's no request formally for an opinion. I don't quite see why those questions couldn't be answered of a common citizen. I think it's fairly dismissive of citizens to say that you're not going to answer those questions as well.
You say one senator can kill this, you talk about any one in particular.
No. Oh, I can name three. You know, I'm fair and balanced as Marshall.
And I think when the Attorney General and Governor Blunt were going to be running against each other, I thought maybe that was the reason he didn't really want to get into this or answer any questions. I assumed that once the governor said he wasn't running, that natural conflict wouldn't be there and he could go ahead and step forward. But I mean, Steve's exactly right. If we don't get the Attorney General's involvement in this and his information on where he thinks this thing should go and how it should be crafted, quite frankly, and he's running for governor right now. I mean, we all know the political situation up here. You know, he puts the word out to his folks, and they're going to kill anything he's not happy with. So we're just trying to work with him. And it's, you know, we're coming out today and kind of taking something public that should have been done in a private room, sitting around and trying to get answers. We're in a committee hearing. It's a shame that we have to do it publicly like this, but let's be honest, this is a problem. People are going to suffer, and he's got to be a part of the solution.
Let me ask you a
Thanks,
question
everybody.
about sending legislation to say one senator can filibuster or a group of senators. That's never stopped the House from passing stuff before. The court reform was filibuster. It was PQ, we moved on, life goes on. I mean, when has that stopped the court from sending stuff over to the Senate?
Well, many times I have to send things over to the Senate because we knew that it may not make it. And in this case here, I mean, I guess we could send it over, it could get filibustered, not make it, and then we could go out and say, you know, we did our best and use it as a political issue. But, you know, Steve and I in our last term, we're not running for anything. We just want to fix the problem before we get out of here to help the